need to ask, he's a smooth operator.
Hello, and thank you for joining us today on this month's episode of the Transit Talk. I'm Roger Marenco.
And I'm Pete Wilson.
I believe this is episode number 14. In a few minutes, friends, we are going to be uploading the forum to meet the candidates, which we just had on, when was that, Pete? When did we have that forum? It was Wednesday, November the 15th. Friends, the reason it took us a couple of days to upload this is because there was also a second forum on Saturday, November 18th. That's why we had to wait a few days to upload the video, because we were waiting to see what happened at that forum. Pete, give us a small 60-second debriefing in regards to what happened on the second forum.
Well, you would know better than I would, because I did have a family obligation. I told the election committee, so I showed up a little bit late. But my understanding is some of the candidates, Rafael Cabrera, Andrew Simmons, Dijon Williams, showed up by 10 o'clock. By 10:05, they were maybe disappointed in the lack of attendance. And Andrew Simmons locked up and they left. And as they were walking away, Roger Marenco showed up at a 10:06 with a few other operators, and called one of the operators that was walking with Andrew Simmons and them, and found out what was happening. And then I showed up a little while later, saw you, some other operators. We hung out till 12 o'clock. While we were there, we saw some interesting posts going up. Remember those posts by one of the candidates, telling people on different WeChats. He posts on Presidio WeChat, which is kind of interesting, because I've seen him there giving out donuts, but I've never seen him actually operating out of Presidio. But telling people how they were there and everything. So I actually posted, "Oh, we're still here. It's something like 11:45. Where are you?" And so
out of respect for the operators that did show up on Saturday, Pete, myself, and a couple of other operators decided to stay at the union office, even though the forum was canceled.
Well, it was from 10 to 12.
It was from 10 to 12, so out of respect, we waited there for other operators who, of course, did show up.
You do remember one of the last questions at the forum on Thursday night was about family and family obligations.
Right.
So I told people that I told you, and you were going to tell people that I had a family obligation, so I was late. And why could other people showed up at 11:30 just to catch the end or to meet the candidate? You're there for 2 hours to have people meet you, or the best you can. So
right.
It's kind of odd.
All right. So Pete, tell me just real quickly, what do you think of the forum that did occur, the one on Wednesday night? What did you think of it? Success, good, bad?
Well, I mean, the positives and the negatives. I mean, there was less than 100 operators, which could be a little disappointing. I thought they provided dinner, which was very nice. I thought that was nice. It was a good moderator. Was a nice individual. I actually had thought that they were going to give an opportunity to speak on things that we wanted to clarify our positions and such, but it was more of a question and answer type of thing. And so other than, I mean, I would have wanted to speak a little bit about what I had to say, but I think people who came got to hopefully hear what they wanted about the different candidates and their different opinions.
Right.
Some of us were a little surprised that Eric Williams canceled the regular meeting. I actually thought it was going to be a meeting with meet the candidates in there.
Well,
one of the candidates got very, very upset about that.
I don't think the president canceled the meeting. There was a memo or a bulletin that went out that said that it was canceled by the membership. I'm not really sure how or what that means. Point is, there was a forum. There was a forum to meet the candidates, which we are going to be uploading in a few minutes. Some of the pros that I really liked about the forum is the food. There was no violence. There was no hostilities. Everybody felt warm, welcome. Everybody felt invited. A friendly place, which is how every single general membership meeting should be. So I was really happy at that. I was really sad because the lack of participation. I was expecting there to be more operators. Unfortunately, schedules, family, work, etc. There was not as great of participation on our membership as I would have liked for it. Also, another sort of thing that just was very interesting, I didn't really understand it. Dijon Williams arguing with the moderator before the forum even began. You guys are going to get to see that as soon as we upload the video. I didn't really understand what the point of that was. Everybody in that room was there for a forum to meet the candidates, question and answer, but he was just seemed very against it, and everybody was so confused as to why is D. John Williams arguing with the moderator. Everybody's here for a forum to meet the candidates, so why is he arguing back and forth? Very just interesting, and I just thought that was sort of a downer to, of a way to start the forum. Just very interesting. But I don't know. What do you guys think, operators, members?
Well, you know what, Roger? Actually, if he found that in the bylaws and the meeting couldn't have been canceled, hey, good job. But argue it with Andrew Simmons, because Andrew Simmons was the vice president. I didn't see him go up to Andrew Simmons and talk to him before the meeting. I don't know if he was just trying to show off his knowledge of how things were going. And I thought I would come up with a funny joke, and not actually that funny, but I was like, hey, nice to see you folks. We actually would have had quorum if this was a meeting. But because of John's little outburst, the moderator thought I was giving him a hard time. I wasn't. It was my weak attempt at a joke.
Got it. Thanks for
not a very funny guy.
Up. So just let us know your thoughts as to what you think that was all about, not having a forum or I have no idea. It was so bizarre. But anyways, it's going to be on the video. Check it out. Give us your thoughts, your opinions.
They can post it up their opinions on Facebook.
That's right. Post your opinions on Facebook, any comments, etc., and so forth. What else was I going to say before we get tied into before we upload the video? One sentence, one section in our MOU, Article 24, Section 24.10, Paragraph 294. One of the most important fundamental paragraphs, elements that I think in this entire book. I'm going to read it to you guys. And I quote, "Every chairperson shall be available during the day to handle grievances, hearings, sign-ups, meetings with the Safety Committee, the Joint Labor Management Committee, and they shall be available to promote and build the morale among the operators." To promote and build the morale among the operators. Nowhere in here does it say that union representatives, certain union representatives, you guys know who I'm speaking about, will be sitting around the ghillie room playing ping pong all day, playing pool all day, playing cards all day. Doesn't say that anywhere in here. It says they shall be available to promote and build the morale among the operators. That is going to be key in the next administration that comes into play next month. Remember that the vote is Tuesday, December 12th, 2017. Keep that in mind. Article 24, Section 24.10, Paragraph 294. One of the most important paragraphs that I have found in this little book right here.
Roger. So you and I have something in common. And we have something in common with another operator who's been here for 7 years. We all started at Flynn. And I was talking to this operator 2 days ago, and he was saying, yeah, you guys, I love your brochure, but what are you going to do? What are you going to do? This guy really doesn't like his job. And I said, yeah, let's find something you like about it. What can we do to try and make it better? And he was talking about how, we quoted a rule that people, basically your supervisors shouldn't be shouting at you. It's in your brochure. They should treat you with dignity. And basically he was just saying the first 9 weeks, he just, people are just yelling at him. You get on that bus over there at Woods and you're in training and they're just yelling at you and treating you not very well. And then after I finished my training, I went over to Flynn, and it's funny, for me it's funny, because you're talking about, maybe it's not the Flynn, chairperson you're talking about. But when I started at Flynn, you know what they said to us? Don't go in there and play ping pong. Don't go in there and play pool. Like, not, hey, good to have you. Welcome to Flynn. But stay away from that stuff. You know what I'm saying? Let's talk to you once you finish your probation. So, you want to build morale? Why don't we work on bringing the new brothers and sisters in? I know they haven't started yet, but I think we could work on that in the future, Roger, in some way to incorporate them into the fold.
Very important paragraph that I found in the MOU, Article 24, Section 24.10, Paragraph 294, page 60. For those of you that want to look it up, I would just really enjoy that one. They shall, every chairperson shall be here to promote and build the morale among the operators. Wow, powerful. powerful stuff. Friends, before we upload the video, I would like to say that I would like to address this really nasty smear campaign that has been built against myself by an operator whose name I'm not going to say because all of you know who this operator is. The latest smear tactic and propaganda that came out was this ridiculous little notice that says, meet the candidates night, 11/15/2017. Presidential candidate Roger Marenco was asked what union experience he has to help him as TWU Local 258 president, and he answered none. Well, that's not accurate. I'll let you guys be the judge of that.
I'm going to interrupt you again, Roger, because I said to you earlier, folks, guess who the answer is to this question. Who has attended more union meetings this year than anybody? No, not Eric Williams, not Andrew Simmons, Roger Marenco.
Yes,
nice work.
Thank you. I've been present at every single general membership meeting for the last 3 years. So yes, except the ones that have been canceled, of course. And I'm gonna take a still shot. Is that what it's called? Screenshot. Of this right here. I'm gonna put it up, and here's a little test for you. Who's going to win the Golden Star? If you can find all of the grammatical errors, the punctuation, the syntax, everything that's incorrect with this document, whoever it is that you can figure it out wins the Golden Star. I will give you one clue. First off, my last name is spelled incorrectly. Number two, we don't belong to TWA. We do not belong to TWA. So the person that published this, if you're gonna smear my name, you should take a little bit more careful consideration and proofreading, editing your documents. We do not belong to TWA. We belong to TWU. So thank you for doing a horrible job at trying to smear everything that we've been doing. I'm going to put this up. Whoever can find the most grammatical errors in this wins the Golden Star. With that in mind, Pete, do you have anything else that you would like to say in regards to the forum to meet the candidates? Anything that you'd like to say in regards to your position, your stance?
Okay. Yes. Enjoy the forum. It's coming up. I also just want to say, hopefully you've seen some of our flyers. We put out our brochures. Roger and I will be coming to as many barns as we can.
All of them.
I'm actually taking, not this is Thanksgiving week. Of course, I couldn't take this week off. Next week I couldn't take it, but the following week, starting December 2nd, I'm going to take the week off. And one of my goals is to ride every bus line. I think there's 4 or 5 bus lines I'm sorry folks, Woods, I've never ridden the 54. And I don't think I've ridden the 35 Eureka in its completion. So I'm going to go out there and make sure I ride every line, meet as many people as possible, go to the different barns, because we have our to-do list here, and some people will say, well, what are you going to do about that? What are you going to do about that? So I know that, I've read the studies online. You can look at it. Folks, we all think, oh, I just want to make more money. I want to make more money. What are the two most important things to employees? One is, believe it or not, more than money is to feel like they're listened to. So they want to be able to give input. Okay, so they want Muni, like what would happen if Muni or the union would actually listen to your opinions and try and do things about it, input, and then they also want to feel supported. So when we're out there on the lines, they want to feel supported. So those are 2 major things that I want to work at, and lowering your stress. I don't know, Roger, for instance, clearing up the sick policy. As you know, at meetings, they'll say, hey, there is no sick policy, don't sign anything. You know what I want? I want that on a little card, on a little business card, and I want the union reps to hand that to the different operators, because there's an operator who's been here for 3 or 4 years longer than me, and he says, you guys got to clear up that sick policy. It's just simple as educating the members, Roger. What do you think about that? Educate and organize the members. Okay, improve schedules. Today I was driving the 41. The 41 is kind of like a commuter shuttle. You drive down Union Street, you get onto Columbus, and once you get to Columbus, you're basically not picking up anybody. You're just taking people down to the financial district to get to work. And all of a sudden I'm early. Why? Because people left town for Thanksgiving, right? That bus should be able to, after Columbus and Powell, we should be able to get people downtown. You've driven the 8 before, right?
Yes.
I used to drive the 8 when I was at Flynn. Man, you get on the freeway, you shouldn't have to drive 10 miles an hour on the freeway because there's no traffic on the off-ramp. If you came off the off-ramp and there's no traffic, you turn onto Bryant, you can get written up. Do you know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
We need to, folks, when you see me at the barn, say, hey, Pete, well, tell us about your different ideas about the schedules. Okay, it's not just speed it up or slow it down. It's actually changed the way the schedules are done. The cameraman's looking. He's driven the 22 before. Remember 3 years ago, there was no schedule. Yeah, some people drove a little fast, but man, it was so low stress. It was awesome. Remember that, Potrero drivers? So these are just some options, some ideas. When you see me and Roger, feel free. You know, like right now, I got to run back and drive the 24. But if I'm not running to drive a coach, I'm more than happy to stop and talk to you.
Excellent. Well, I think that does it for this month's episode, you guys. Thank you as usual for continuing to join us in these past 14 months of us trying to bring you the most current, up-to-date information regarding our working conditions. Remember, the Transit Talk is here to do its best to try and provide us with the two most important elements of any and every movement: educating ourselves and organizing ourselves. If you have any other comments, questions, concerns, please feel free to email us with any pithy comments. The email address is thetransittalk@gmail.com. You can also join our Facebook group page, which is called The Transit Talk. Follow us on Twitter at The Transit Talk. From all of us here to all of you out there, thank you very much for joining us. Tune in. Until next time, be safe out there. Happy holidays to everybody.
Be safe, yeah. I don't usually say be safe, but yes, Thanksgiving, people are... Thanks.
Big up. Thank you, to the mic.
I would like to welcome everyone to the Meet the Candidates Night 2017 for Local 250A TWU.
Thank you, Nina, for that. And now we're going to do the rule. Please, we ask that everyone please abide by the rules. We're going to read the reading of the rules by Nicole. Nicole, read the rules.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening. Hello, good evening. All right. There are many ways to provide voter education. Meet the Candidates Night is one tool. Please help make this event a success by following these simple rules. The moderator shall direct the questions to the candidates. Equal time limits will be strictly enforced, When queued, the candidates will have 2 minutes to speak. When the time limit has expired, the moderator will say time. This will indicate that the candidates must not speak any further. Number 5, candidates shall not address each other, although they may make reference to another person's question. Number 6, all questions will be pulled from a lottery, collected through membership participation. Again, all questions will be pulled from a lottery, collected through membership participation. Number 7, no candidate shall interrupt another candidate. Number 8, no audience outbursts or interruptions will be tolerated during this program. Number 9, use of inappropriate language is prohibited. Number 10, disruptive members will be asked to leave promptly. Number 11, when and if the audience is cued that participation is warranted, they must do so in an orderly fashion. So we have another information about how the candidates' information will be shared. All candidates will pull numbers which will indicate seating order, and the order by which the initial questions will be asked. The moderator shall deliver the first question. The candidate receiving the question shall be entitled to give a response not to exceed 2 minutes. Moving from the left to right, all the candidates will be allowed to address the questions. Again, not exceeding 2 minutes. On delivery, the next question, the candidate to the right of the first candidate to respond will be the first to answer the next question, followed by the responses from the other candidates moving from left to right. There will be a process for the question and answering period. The Meet the Candidates Committee will use our best efforts to ensure that candidates for each position speak for equally amount of time. We ask that the candidates keep the time criteria in mind to ensure that this event is easily and fairly managed. Again, questions will be pulled by lottery. All questions will be placed in a container marked President, Vice President, Secretary, Treasurer, or Recording Secretary. The container will be shaken to ensure that the order is uncertain. Now next, audience participation will be allowed if time permits, only if time permits. Please do not disrupt the program in an attempt to have your personal questions or points of view addressed. The Meet the Candidates Committee would like to recognize that the great efforts we'll put forth to ensure that the Transit Workers Union Local 250A membership was afforded an opportunity to submit questions prior to the Meet the Candidates event. If forced attempt the participation in this event occur, the moderator will instruct the audience to refrain from any participation. Audience participation will be queued if warranted.
I just want to piggyback on it, that we are here. Please address all the issues that you guys may have to the candidates only. If there's any issues that you have with anyone else, please wait till the event is over, then you can address the event. Address the person. But we ask that this event here strictly be directed to the candidates.
Our bylaw, section 9, Article 9, section 3. We can't cancel the union meeting unless you have 20% of the membership has a petition. So this is a union meeting as well as a candidate meeting.
This is not a union meeting. This is strictly Meet the Candidates night. You can take that up with the executive board. But it's strictly Meet the Candidates night.
This is a strictly Meet the Candidates
It's
night.
not going to be a meeting.
This is a meeting.
Okay,
not.
okay. What we're gonna do is, we came here, we don't want to have no argument, we want to be straight, straight to the point. We're gonna try to answer a few questions that we have, if it's possible, so that we can take questions from the audience. So this right here is a Meet the Candidates night event. So we ask that every question be addressed to the person that's at the table. Please respect all the rules and as we go along. So right now, I'm going to
Our bylaws, with due respect to all of our rules, the bylaws clearly state, this is a meeting we do.
all due respect, people do not want to hear that. They came out here with a busy time. All they want to do is just find out what's going on. They don't want to know about all that stuff. Right now, all they want to do is ask the questions. Time is wasting out. We have 1 hour. All they want to do is just ask questions. And whatever your issue is after that, you can take it out with Andrew or Eric, whatever, if he comes here. Because right now, we just want to make the candidates night. So I was struggling to just meet the candidates night. All these people here want to just ask questions. That's all they want to do. And find out who's the right person for the president. We don't want to start issues because right now you see that it's about to become an issue, and we don't want that. Everybody's tired. So right now, what we're going to do is I'm going to introduce the presidents and the executive presidents. Right now, I'm going to introduce, everyone knows, Raphael Cabrillo. And we also have Roger Marenco. And we also have Andrew Simmons. And we also have Dijon Williams as presidents. Those are the 4 people that's going to be running for presidents. Those are the 4 people that you're going to be asking questions to if you have questions within these 6 people here. These are the people that's going to answer your questions. And we also have executive vice presidents, which is Derek Johnson, and then we also have P.T. Wilson. So with all that said, I'm going to put you over to the narrator, and he's going to continue on. We're going to try to do it as quick as possible so that we can at least have an hour of audience questions.
Good evening, membership. Good evening, membership. Good evening. My name is Ashiel Martin. It's misspelled in the program. It's I-S-H-E-A-L. And a lot of you know me as Brother Sleep. To get this kicked off, as I would feel to be right, be moderator and keep confusion and keep things in order, I'm going to take a brief moment to say a prayer to invite God in this candidate meeting night. We just get to know one another, so those that choose to bow head, choose to pray, that's on you. Dear gracious Heavenly Father, we ask you for this evening to embark upon this meeting of candidates night, Lord, that you touch each and every member here of the TW 250, Lord, that we may succeed in what we are trying to get information and understand, that you will be in charge and in control. And we ask you to touch each and every heart and mind here, in the name of your Son, our Lord. Amen. Okay, now, I was selected, and I said I would take this duty on, so we're going to move right on into the questions for the candidates that's running for president. And we're going to start with, as they said from right to the left, D. John Williams. Number one question will be, what is your qualifications to be the next TW Local 258 president? My qualifications come from... We can't hear you.
My qualifications come from 26 years of experience, 11 years as a president from SEIU Local 265, 4 years as a vice president of SEIU Service Employees International Local 265, another 6 years as a business agent from SEIU Local 74 in Long Island City, New York, also another 5 years as a business agent for SEIU United Healthcare West, which represents the Kaiser. I was in the Kaiser division in Oakland, California.
Thank you. Raphael?
My name is Rafael Rivera, and I started my career at Henry in 1980, so you can see I've been here for a while, 37 years. Not only that, during my tenure, I was an official, TW official for 9 years. I was the vice president of South and I was the president of the Eastern.
Thank you, Raphael. Andrew Simmons.
Good evening, Andrew Simmons. Let's start off with my career in the military. I graduated from USF, ROTC, worked myself from a lieutenant to a lieutenant colonel. I was there for 28 years. I've worked in numerous military occasions, up to G3 level. That's general, 3-star. I worked under 3-star, and I came to Muni. I've been to Muni since 1995. I started at Green Division. I was vice chair. Then I moved downtown as the staff rep. I was elected executive vice president, staff rep. I've been on numerous of the contract negotiations. I've done numerous of step-free hearings. I feel that I am very qualified for this position based on my experience within the union itself. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Anderson. Roger.
When I was 19 years old, I was an organizer when they were kicking out the city county of San Francisco was gentrifying, evicting, and displacing people of color, low-income people. I organized thousands of people in the Mission District specifically. I became the first person and the first family ever in the city and county of San Francisco to overturn evictions through grassroots organizing, through mass mobilization, and through bringing thousands of residents together in the city and county of San Francisco. The work that I've done has been documented in many documentaries. Boom, the Sound of Eviction, which you can watch online. Homefront Bay Windows #9 by Jennifer Taylor. The work that I've been doing for the past 25 years has been that of organizing, bringing people together, and fighting back against City Hall to pursue our victories against evictions, against gentrification, against displacement, and ensuring that legislation has been passed to protect low-income people of the city county of San Francisco.
Thank you, Mr. Marenco. And I'm going to present the question to the candidates for vice president, but I'm going to definitely rephrase it for president, vice president. What are your qualifications to become the next TW local A vice president? And this question will be to Derek Johnson.
Hello, brothers and sisters. How we doing out there? Can you hear me?
There you go.
Hello, brothers and sisters. How are you? Yeah. My name is Derek Johnson. I'm running for executive vice president. My qualifications, I was UPS, that's United Parcel Service, 13 years, active member, active union, we went on strike during that time as well, and I was one of the chairs at UPS at that time. I've been at Cable Car 17 years, and I'm the chair at Cable Car president.
Thank you, Derek Johnson. Pete Wilson. Feel like you got a question? Feel like when you read it?
I was asking how to use the microphone.
Oh, okay.
I'm sorry, I wasn't supposed to address him. I forgot that rule. I apologize. I was just asking for the microphone. Good evening. Thanks for coming, folks. Good thing that the union meeting was actually canceled tonight because it would have had quorum. What is my, that doesn't happen, does it? What are my qualifications? So, first of all, I come to union meetings. I thank you. Roger Marenco and I have been working for over a year on Transit Talk. And for those of you who have seen it, some of you haven't seen it, the whole idea behind that is my frustration, for my part, in actually knowing what to do with this job and knowing the rules and the governance, like when you get called in to a meeting with your superior and your rep shows up but doesn't say anything. To know that you should be reading this little blue book. I've been spending the last year volunteering my time trying to get this information out to you folks. Now, for years, I'm a college graduate. I studied business. I studied management. I was a manager overseas. I was manager at a school here in San Francisco. And I've taken many communications classes. And I've taken many classes on stress. And this is not my theory. The truth is, if you stress a lot. 2 minutes, 2 minutes. That's 2 minutes. You're warning me about 2 minutes? What is 2 minutes?
We have 2 minutes to respond.
I'm taking a while to get to my point, and I apologize.
You should.
Thank you. I'll make it quick. My point is that stress is causing a lot of accidents. It's not just causing a lot of accidents, it's causing people to become sick. Okay? That's not 30 seconds.
2 minutes. You got 2 minutes right there. Let me say one thing before we go further with the question. Again, this is not my first time moderating the candidate, and I did it some years ago. And the candidate is for the membership to get to meet the new executive body that is interested in running for office. You can't conduct this as a union meeting because we don't have the present elected officials here to call the meeting. So that's all we're trying to do is to find out what your intents and what you want to do as being a part of the executive body. Is that okay? Is that clear with everyone? Is that clear with everyone? Oh, yeah. Okay. Whether you organize membership that's going to put you where you want to be.
Mine was actually a poor attempt at a joke. Mine was actually a poor attempt at a joke.
I can't hear anything you say.
Mine was a poor attempt at a joke.
Okay. I'm just making a statement. Okay. Moving right along. Okay. Our next question would be starting with me, John Johnson. What is the duties of the president of the local 258?
What are the duties of the president?
Yes, sir.
duties of the president is to supervise the local, to adhere to all.
Please be clear. We can't hear you.
The duties of the president is to supervise the local, to make sure everybody is doing their job, to help with the staff, to help represent the membership, along with the full-time staff representative. The duties also of the president is to adhere to the membership, to be transparent with the membership, letting the membership know what is the functions of the union, what is the union doing at the time. The membership needs to be informed on everything, whether it's through a membership meeting, which we haven't had a quorum in 13 months. So therefore, it could be other ways, it could be an email, it could be newsletters, or actually getting out and making visitation to all the divisions.
Two minutes. No.
To making visitations to the divisions, because a lot of the members are unable to come to the membership meetings. So once again, just to let the members know what's going on in the functions of the union, and to make everybody clear that the president should provide a CPR to this union, courtesy professional representation. That's it.
Thank you. Okay, I'm gonna jump around to Andre. Excuse me, Andrew, I'm sorry. Andrew Simmons.
Sorry, Andrew Simmons.
What is the duties of the president of local PA?
My understanding about the duties of the president of any local, is that he's only a figurehead. The membership runs the local, basically. He is to make sure that the executive board, which he has control over at his office, which is 1508 Fillmore, make sure that they distribute information that has to be distributed into the divisions itself. He is not a dictatorship. He is not the person who says, this is what it's going to be. We have an executive board. He controls the executive board. He does not have a vote on the executive board. He's only a tiebreaker on the executive board. The executive board basically runs the union. His job is to make sure that when we have to go to negotiations, that things are negotiated correctly. Once again, the executive board is there. Make sure that the agency abides by the contract. Make sure that the local abides by its contract. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Simmons. Roger, would you like to respond?
Duties of the president are to organize the membership, to educate the membership, to bring the membership together in a positive way. The duties of the president are not to be hostile towards members, not to threaten members, not to tell them to take it outside. The duties of the president are to educate the membership, organize the membership, bring the membership together, so even when the time comes to stand up and fight back, everybody's ready to stand up and fight back as one group, as one people, and as one nation. That's the duties of the president.
Thank you, Mr. Marenco. Raphael, take over.
Basically, it's not as simple as it seems. Our duty as the president is to oversee just about everything that involves membership. Not only that, and I think that's where we kind of lost it somewhere, somehow, that our level is a very political, and we need to have friends at City Hall, we need to have friends, and get involved in local communities. That's one of the things that we kind of have left out there. We would need the support of the Board of Supervisors, the Labor Council, the state, and so on and so on, and be able to fill all the committees that is going to help us to fulfill all our obligations.
Thank you, Raphael. And this question will be presented as well to the candidates for Vice President. What is the duties of the Vice President of the local PWA 250? And I will take people.
Thank you. So, the first duty of the vice president is covered for the president, assist the president, if he was sick or something like that, to run meetings, as Andrew Simmons has done for Eric. When Eric has not made meetings, Andrew Simmons has been there. Also, the vice president is the staff rep. So one of the most important jobs that takes up the most time is that the vice president is the staff rep, who is the person who helps you, supports you, and goes in to deal with the SFMTA to try and help you and to keep your job. But I would also hope that part of the vice president's job is, as I was getting to before, is to help clarify rules, educate and organize the members and educate them so that they know what all the rules are. Some rules are obvious, but some rules are unclear. So I would like to work with the SFMTA to clear up certain rules that are unclear. I believe that with lower stress, we'll have less sick operators, happier operators, and people will enjoy their jobs more.
Thank you. And Derek Johnson.
The job of the executive vice president is to support the president, fill in for the president when he's not available to be here at meetings, also to listen to the members. Follow-up is important. That means return all phone calls within 24 hours. Treat the members with respect and fair and honest treatment.
Thank you. Okay. E. John Williams. Who can overturn the executive board?
The membership. Should be a member-ran union. So the executive board makes a decision along with the president, and the members come to a meeting, and they want something different. It should be a member-ran union. It should go back to a membership-ran union instead of a dictatorship. That's who should overturn it.
Raphael.
Well, it's basically the same answer that I would give, but at the same token is that's why you have your meetings with the executive board, and you always listen to their issues or whatever they for it or against, and only the liberty can overturn that. But at the same token, let me say one thing. As a chairperson, it needs to be coherent on what belongs, whatever the membership wants. And that's why it's so important that we have the lowest part of that, to have meetings at the divisional level so we can understand what the issues in a particular division are. So it's still, the membership is the one that rules.
Thank you, Raphael. Andrew Simmons.
The question again, please?
The question, who can overturn the executive board decisions?
Only the membership can overturn the executive board decisions on any issue. But you got to understand that the executive board is made up of individuals from each division that we have. We have a chair, vice chair, and secretary at each division. That is the link to the membership. The executive board is the link. The chairs, the vice chairs, and the secretary. They are the first contact to the membership. Their duties basically is to bring the information from the membership down to 1508 Fillmore to the other three executive officers. There's only 3 other executive officers in the building at one time. You cannot be at 7 other divisions all the time. So, back to your question, it's the membership.
Thank you. Roger, same question. Would you like to repeat?
Sure.
Who can overturn the executive board decision?
I'd like to read from you from the bylaws article 4. It says, the local executive board shall be the supreme governing body in the local union, except only that any action, decision, or rule of the local executive board may be reversed or amended by the majority of the members of the local union voting at a general membership meeting of the local union. To clarify that, it's the membership. The membership is the governing body. In the Constitution, Article 7, one sentence, and I quote, page 76, "The supreme authority in the local union shall be and always has been the membership of the local union."
Thank you. This question I'm going to first address to the candidates for Vice President and Derek Johnson. What does the Executive Board consist of?
Executive Board consists of a chair, a vice chair, and a secretary treasurer from each division. But we added a couple more divisions which don't have that luxury at this time, which it would be enemy and also the Creek. So we're looking forward to filling those divisions with an executive board.
Thank you. Pete Wilson.
Was it on purpose that we didn't answer the last questions?
No, it wasn't. It was my choice.
Okay, good. Well then, yes, it was on purpose. Yeah, no, I mean, yes, it was.
Are you going to answer this question? Or are you going to refer back to the next question? Because the time is taken.
Yeah,
I'm the moderator.
Oh, I was just wondering, thank you.
You wondering if I'm the moderator?
You're doing great. You're doing great.
That was a joke.
No.
The question is, what does the executive board consist of, Pete? Thank you.
Thank you. It was Derek pointed out, there's a chair, a vice chair, and a secretary if you have them. That not all divisions have them. But who can overturn the executive board? Who can overturn the executive board? Nobody can overturn the executive board. We've seen that. We've had quorum, and no one's been able to overturn the executive board. Has anybody seen that? Speaking in the present, nobody.
Okay. Derek Johnson, you may respond to the previous questions since Pete did give it. So let me read it for you. Who can overturn the executive board?
The governing body, the membership can only.
Okay, thank you. Okay, we're going to go from right to left, and we're going to follow this one in the order there. Elected for president of Local 258, what tools are you going to use in our negotiation contracts?
Well, first of all, reach out to the membership and adhere to what they want before we get into negotiations. Go around to each division with the executive board and meet with the membership at each division and talk to them and get a feel of what the membership wants. Then come up with a good negotiation team. It should be the executive board, and it could be some members out in some of the membership that might have some good negotiation skills. Also, do the research on SFMTA. Do the research on how much they're bringing in, what they're taking in, what they're spending it on, and reach out to some of these other unions that might be a good idea. It may, depending on the membership, it may be a good idea to have a coalition. Since we negotiate by ourselves, it may be a good idea to work with the other unions. It may be a good idea to get back and be part of the San Francisco Labor Council. We negotiate by ourselves. We're all by ourselves here. And you can't continue to do the same thing and expect different results. So we got to look and adhere to the membership, look at all our resources, and try to get the best we can for our members. Not only get the wages, try to get a better retirement, even look back and get COLA, cost of living adjustments, because management, SFMTA, has that in their financial report. They have it. So we need to do the best we can for our membership, because a 3% raise is just not cutting it anymore.
And us negotiating by ourselves is not effective either.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Rafael, same question.
Actually, there was I want to call it not a victory, but it was very good news that is now on last month, the 20th.
Ms. Raymond.
No, that's it. The phone was ringing. Okay, let me get back. Last month, the 20th, practice, one part of practice will return. What it does for us is whatever was imposed is a good thing that was able to, the city violated the Brown Act. So that's a good thing for all of us. And I would like to say this to the membership, whoever gets to be the president or whoever gets to be elected, let's look into it very closely, because that's a way of us going back, not the old days, we cannot get whatever we lost, but if there's a past practice, side letters that we can work with it, and have our attorneys look into it, that to me itself is one of the tools that we need to look into it.
Thank you, Andrew. Would you like to read the question again? Okay.
I got it. Tools of negotiations. First thing is, you got to have knowledge of where MTA is coming from. You know, just not anyone can walk down and sit across the table with those people down there. Those people down there, they have masters, they have PhDs. And they look at us as, you know what, we're just bus drivers. See, the tools that you bring is, excuse me, the tools that you bring is the knowledge you have of the local itself. You know, everybody, Raphael brought up the Prop G. And yes, Prop G has been overturned. And also we're having a lawyer look into the language to find out exactly what can we bring back to the table. And I always holler about the pink book, the pink contract that we had that we lost a ton of things behind Prop G. We lost a whole lot of things. Those are the tools that we have to go back to that pink book contract that we had several years ago that had a lot of information, a lot of things that we got taken away because of Prop G. Those are one of the tools that we can research and go back to. That's what I'm looking to do as president. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Roger, yes, the question would you like to read?
Sure.
If elected for president of the local 258, what other tools are you going to use in our negotiations?
What are the tools that we would use for a negotiation? We have to find power from a perspective of power. It's time to hire real labor attorneys. That's what we need to do. That's the first tool. The second tool is to build our alliances with other community-based organizations, nonprofit organizations, other unions, other transit agencies. And the strongest, the single most important tool that we're going to use is us, the ability to come together, educate ourselves, and organize ourselves as one group, as one people, because everybody in here is a 9163 transit operator. It doesn't matter if you've been here 40 years or 40 days. The agency has you and I classified as a 9163 transit operator, and that right there, the ability to come together as a 9163 transit operator is the single most important tool for us to fight back and get a real decent contract.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, we're gonna skip around. Okay, here we are. I'm gonna open this question up to the candidates for vice president first. If elected, are you going to bring our bylaws up to date? People.
Thank you. So, Roger Marenco and I have this brochure of things that we would like to do, our to-do list, and bullet point number 7 or number 8 is update our 30-year-old bylaws. My understanding is 2 members back here were on the bylaws committee. They came up with recommendations, and then the recommendations were ignored. So yes, the answer is simply yes. Yes.
Thank you. Derek Johnson, would you like to respond to the question?
Yes, we would update the bylaws because it's a lot of language that's in the bylaws which don't apply to the present day. It's, we're missing a couple divisions are missing from the bylaws. We have what was called too much a man's workforce. It was his, he, when it should be he, she. We have to include the ladies into the bylaws. That's an important part of this union is our women. That's very important. Get the women recognized and get the women to work in this union because this union would be a lot stronger union if we got our females to work with proper respect.
Okay.
No outbursts. No outbursts.
I want to bring that question back to the candidate for vice president. But this was touched on, and I want to bring this question up to Roger Marenco. We all know that Prop G passed in 2010. Are you going to ask the international for help if you're elected to president?
Not only are we going to ask the international for help, we're going to ask the San Francisco Board of Supervisors for help. We're going to ask the residents in the city and county of San Francisco for help. The passengers are not our enemies. They too are angry at the situation that has been brought forth by the SFMTA. So we need to utilize, as the previous question stated, all of the tools. And that is another tool that we can and should be using. The international, absolutely.
Thank you. Dijon Williams, we all know that Prop G passed in 2010. Are you going to ask the international for help if you're elected to president?
Yes, I would ask the international for help. That would be a smart thing to do. Also, I would like to reach out to the labor councils for help because some of the other unions are part of the labor council that were affected by Proposition G. Also, would sit down with our lawyer to go over the fine code to look at all the things that they took away out of the Pink Book to try to retain those things and get them back into our union. But the answer is yes, definitely look out. And also talk to the membership about a lot of the things we lost in Prop G 7 years ago. Yes.
Thank you. Andre Simmons, will you respond to this?
Yes. First thing, you got to understand what international does. You know, international basically want us to run our own law. Yes, we pay $33,000 a month to them. But yes, when we call and ask them for information, it takes them several days to get back to us. So basically, we're running our own division, our own local here. So basically, the first thing is, which we've already done, is reach out to our labor lawyer to interpret it when he was there fighting for Prop G. Because once again, they have their own set of problems. Yes, I will reach out to them, but I don't expect an answer from you. Thank you.
Raphael, would you like to respond to that question as well?
Definitely. You always want to make sure you have an open communication with the international. Not only to help you, but to advise you. And they have an attorney, and we did seek their help. And I guess before we failed, like I mentioned it earlier. And this will be, and I hope we continue, and not only today, but more to make sure that the attorney give us a briefing on it. What is that we can do? We don't have to wait another 2 years if in fact it's been ordered to wrap all crap. So therefore, that would be the best venue right now.
Thank you, Raphael. Okay, this question will be the last question from the moderator, and then we'll have membership participation. And this will be to all the candidates, and we'll just generally go from Dijon over to Marenco, and then we'll come down from there over to the, what procedure you're going to take on dealing with assault on operators? Dijon.
Well, I would take a hard procedure on that. There was a company recently that SFNTA had hired a security company, and then they canceled it. Three or four of the board of supervisors were overruled, and they were outvoted to pay this money to the security for this company to help secure the buses and transit operators. So I would go reach out to the board of supervisors, the SFNTA board, go to their meetings with the executive board, and explain and talk to them about all the assaults we're having on our operators. This is something serious. A lot of us are coming to work for no reason and getting assaulted for no reason. And I would make that a priority to make sure that we have some type of security for our operators that are being assaulted on the transit.
Thank you, Dijon. Raphael?
Definitely, this is something that is to hear for us. And there are laws already there, but what we need to do is get the district attorney to prosecute, not to just give him a slap in the hand or do some community work. They have to be prosecuted. Along with the NTA, go and talk to the district attorney. That's not, because it's not only an issue here in the city, it's an issue all over. And we need to be vigilant on that. So we can seek the help of the board of supervisors or whoever we want to listen to us. They're all concerned to provide the best service available for us, but at the same token, we would like to be safe. So, but the district attorney has to go to the fullest to prosecute.
Thank you, Raphael. Andrew Simmons.
First thing, we want to take this beyond the city of San Francisco. This has to go up to Sacramento. This has to go to the state conference, where we've taken this a couple of times to get this on the ballot. To get this on the ballot for the people of California to vote on about assaults. Assaults is a very serious thing. It's a very serious issue. It's a double-edged sword also, because once again, it's assault. It happens both ways. It can happen from the person sitting behind the wheel or the person getting on the bus. We want to make sure that everybody is treated equally, so we want to put this on the ballot to make sure that this is something that the state legislators understand, that we are serious about this issue, and we're not going to tolerate it and sit back and let nothing happen. We've taken it, last year we talked to the CSD, and we got close by getting it on the ballot. We got very close. Once again, we have to help support the legislators that put this stuff on the ballot and get back into politics once again, because that helps us. That drives this train, basically. If you don't have political connections, you're dead in the water. We've been dead for a few years now. But I, as Executive Vice President Staff Rep, I'm fighting to get back onto that train to make sure that we are politically correct and behind, to make sure those people in City Hall and also up at Sacramento are behind us. Thank you.
Thank you. Roger Marenco, you respond to the question as well.
I agree that the approach that we need to take is to take it up a level beyond the city and county of San Francisco, go up to Sacramento. I also agree with the approach that we need to get the media involved. It's time for the residents of the city and county of San Francisco to see what is happening to our operators, to our brothers and sisters out there. I don't know why whenever an operator is assaulted, it's not blasted on the media, on the press. I will blast that on Facebook, on YouTube, on Twitter, and every other account that we have out there, letting everybody know what's happening to our operators. So the approach that I'm going to take is to get the media involved so that the city and county of San Francisco can see what's being done to our operators.
Thank you, Roger Marenco. Derek Johnson.
Well, I agree with Andrew and Roger about taking this step to Sacramento, taking on the bill, and then turn the bill into a law. Because operators have been assaulted numerously on a daily basis, and we also need to get involved in the district attorney to prosecute these people who attack operators. And obviously they have no fear because they're out there attacking police officers daily. So let's move forward and get the media involved and let the public know how people are treating operators, because we have to make it home for our families at night as well.
Thank you, Derek Johnson. Pete Wilson.
Yeah, I definitely agree with everybody who's talked about legislation, and what Derek just said there at the end about the families is a good point too, because I've said stress a couple times, but I know that if we lower stress, then hopefully fights will be less likely to happen. But I do want to point out that if you're driving, if I'm driving, and somebody wants to get in a fight with us, then you know what they should do? They should walk away. This is my place of employment. If you don't like it, you should walk away. Okay? Now, assault on operators, they say once every 11 days. They put a sign on the bus. It wasn't the best. It wasn't the best sign. It didn't really explain to people. But as Roger said, we take it to media, we put up film, we let people know what's actually happening. Hey, maybe you don't like the way I drive, but that doesn't give you the right to hit me. Cops get on. I had cops get on a couple years ago on Market Street, take my number or whatever, and they get off 2 or 3 stops later. What I'd like to see is undercover police. Because if you're somebody who wants to cause issues on a bus, and you see a cop in a uniform, you're probably not going to start something with me. But if you know there's undercover cops, but you don't know if they're there or not, you're much less likely to do it. So what I would like to do is see undercover cops. I'd also like to take the statistics and take them to the people more and show them what's happening. Because I, as a member, haven't seen all the statistics, but I would hope that the board would take statistics and take it to the media, not just with the film, but with the statistics and things like that. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. This concludes the questions that the moderator has for the candidates. I would like to thank each one of the candidates for letting us know a little bit more about your agenda. And I'd like to say to you, as well as thank the membership for allowing me to moderate candidate night, is happy campaigning. Let's give the program over to Loretta Williams, and she will. Okay.
All right, here's the time. Right now, we're going to open the floor up. We ask that any questions be again directly to the candidates. We ask that if you like to come up to the floor, up to the hearing and talk so we can hear you. We ask that you guys do it. And we have 45 minutes, that's going to do 30 minutes of questions, and we're going to do the 2-minute closing remarks.
How y'all doing tonight? Good to see y'all. Chapter Games and family out here. I'm Philip Taylor, operator 1590 out of Woods. I just got 2 questions for the president and the vice. My first question is, are the candidates consider themselves radical? My second question is in negotiations, as leadership, how do you allow in negotiations things that we already lost and we continue to lose every year in negotiations? And if it's a 5-year wage progression, how does the leadership allow a 5-year wage progression? How do they allow that in negotiation? Now, if the leadership can't handle it, we should get attorneys who are qualified to sit down and negotiate. All right, okay, got it. Sorry. So my question is, are you radical? Starting with you, radical. That's what I said, radical. Are you radical?
No, I'm not radical. I don't think you need to be radical. I think you need to come up with a good strategy on negotiating a contract for the SFHA members all the way around the board. And as far as the 5-year plan, it's actually 48 months and 1 day. I wasn't a part of that, so I don't know how they gave that up.
From my understanding, it was a citywide thing, but once again, it was something that was given up. And yes, I'm in agreement with you. How do you keep giving these things up and you're not getting nothing in return? And I'm gonna try to wrap this up quick. Negotiations is a give and take. You can't walk in there with a magic wand and get everything you want. At the same time, they shouldn't be getting everything that they want and we walk away with nothing. So, yes, maybe they didn't understand. A lot of us are operators who try to play union people and don't understand how this goes. And yes, we should have a labor attorney when we get into the deep waters of some things that we just don't. Some of us that never negotiate just don't know. So you should turn to your negotiation labor attorney. And also you should go to, once again, probably good to negotiate with a coalition, with the other big unions that negotiate with SSNT.
To you, Mr. Marenco.
Am I radical?
Yeah, are you radical?
Let me tell you what is radical. Going from 18 months to max out in pay to 5 years to max out in pay. That to me is radical. Operators having to work 3 and 4 jobs because they can't afford to pay rent. That to me is radical. When an operator is standing still, opening the doors, picking up passengers, and then that operator gets rear-ended, but the operator gets charged. That to me is radical. This situation has been at the radical level since before I even came here. The real situation, the real question you need to be asking is, why are you not radical? How much more radical is the corporation going to become before you get radical? Am I radical? You're damn right I'm radical. We've taken this to the radical situation since I even came here. The transit talk is a radical idea. The mass texting that I do is a radical idea. The flyering that I do that certain union representatives take down on a monthly basis, that is a radical idea. It's going to take radical ideas to fight back against the radical corporation. It's going to take radical actions to counteract their radical reaction. How much more radical is the corporation going to become before we get radical? How about maxing out in pay after 9 years? Is that radical enough for you? How about 3-hour non-paid splits? Is that radical enough for you to become radical? You're damn right I'm radical.
Thank you, sir. Are you radical, sir?
No. You gotta understand that, jumping up, screaming and hollering in this day and time doesn't get you very much. You can march down the street all you want to, hooping and hollering. It's going on across America. It doesn't get you anywhere, guys. You know what? You got to understand what's coming. If you can't see the train when it hits you, guess what? You start looking for it next time. You won't be here next time. The basic thing you have to do is be able to sit down and talk and negotiate. You want to talk about the 48-month progression. We had went through a 5-year wage freeze for 5 years. So guess what? 6 years. So guess what? Our main purpose was to get the people who was here that went through that 6-year wage freeze get something. But at one time, nobody was lined up around the blocks for this job during that time. You know what? It's jumped around. It's gone from 18 months to 36 months now to 48. That's the norm across San Francisco, California now, 48 months. But who do you take care of? The people that's here or the people that's coming in the door? We've all paid our dues. This is a union. Union isn't about paying your dues. You don't walk in have you guys talked to Local 505? It takes them 17 years to make top pay. 17 years, and we're crying about 48 months. 18 months? Yeah, everybody cries, but 17 years to make top pay. And it takes us 48 months. Come on, guys. You know what? You got to look at what's coming. Janice is coming. We're trying to fight Janice. If you don't know what Janice is, go look it up. Things are coming that you're sitting here crying about that the other states are wishing they had what we have here and how we negotiate. You can't get everything in negotiations. There's no good negotiation. When you walk out there, nobody's happy. But guess what? In the last, 5 years, look at the raises we got. You know what? First thing is, people way before me came along and said we could do better in collective bargaining. You got to have something to bargain with in order to get something. That's the first thing you have to understand. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Simmons. Mr. Rare.
Wow. I'm radical. No, I'm not. But I'll tell you one thing. My love, my heart is membership. I do not ever put no 48 months. I don't care anybody else there 70 or whatever it is. What is concerned is what we got now. Why was negotiated? I don't know. I wasn't there. But still, we have one of the lowest one at one point, but it's not there anymore. Now, what is that we can do? I mean, we can cry foul, we can cry whatever we want, but we have to be realistic. How can we, not just the president, whoever is running for president or the executive board, all of us put our heads together and try to see how we can come out with a better solution than what it is now.
Thank you, sir. Y'all have a good night. Good luck.
Anyone else would like to ask any questions?
Yeah.
Hi, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, my first question goes to Matthew. I know we do have a 3-year term contract, don't we? 3 years contract?
2 years.
3 years contract?
2 years.
Usually it's 2 years or 3 years?
Right now, we're on a 2-year contract. Extension, 2-year extension.
So when you enter into a collective bargaining with the city council of San Francisco, don't we deal on 3 years terms, usually?
What was that again?
When we enter into a collective bargaining with the city of San Francisco, don't we agree on 3 years terms, and then we have we renew the contract for another 3 years?
Is it a 3-year contract?
Okay.
Okay, understand, this last contract, the mayor came to the city. Everybody in the city extended that 2-year contract.
Okay, but my question was to you straightforward. Do we have a 3-year contract, or do we have a 2-year contract?
At the present time, we have a 2-year contract.
Okay, that means basically whatever you went for and you dealt and you made it confirm with them and you agreed a deal, it should be respected for the time of the contract, right?
2 years.
Okay, so my question to you goes right now, how do we have a 5-cent wage progression when the terms expire in 3 years or 2 years? How does that happen?
It's a 2-year contract and everything rolls over, sir. Everything rolls over. It wasn't negotiation. Everything, if you understand the contract and how contractual things happen, it rolls over.
Okay, let me rephrase it. If this wasn't a renegotiation, why do we deviate concessions? Why do we extend it 2 years and we allow 473 employees to remain at 8% for the next 3 years? You say that it wasn't, we did not renegotiate, but we gave concessions.
We did not.
We got 6% raise. My question goes straightforward.
Let's keep it to a question.
My question was straightforward. You say that it's not a renegotiation, it was an extension, right?
Correct.
Okay, why then we gave away people, 473 employees remain at 80% level for the next 3 years? What is that?
Okay, let me explain that to you. Why didn't the membership vote to bring them up to 80%? It was the membership that voted. But if you understand, there was 2 things on the ballot. Okay, you voted for the 6% for 2 years and roll the contract over. Also, it was also on the ballot for 80% to bring everybody that was in the House and coming into the House of MTA to go and start at 80%. And the membership voted it no.
Okay, my last question to you goes, do you have any regret for these people who've been left out at 80% for the next 2 years? Any regrets? Do you think you could have done better?
Say again, you're speaking so fast, I can't understand what you're saying.
Do you have any regrets by allowing the membership to vote on 470 employees who lost 20% wage in the next 3 years? Do you think you could have been better? Any regrets? Do you think you could have done better?
Could I have done it better?
Yeah.
It's a possibility. That's why we brought to the membership.
Thank you.
Good evening, all of you. I have a question for all of you, and this question is regarding to that young operators that are in their 30s, their 40s, operators that just started working in Muni. 70% of our operators are pretty much in this new contract, and most of the operators that we have are with young children. And some of them have dropped their seniority to become part-time. to take care of their children. And I want to know what is the president, the vice president, what is you guys are going to do for us, the people with young children. To before, I heard that Muni used to have childcare for us, and now we lose that because we don't use it. We don't know, nobody claimed that. People that work at the hospital, they have that. Their unions provide that for them, but we don't have that because we have to pretty much miss work to take care of our children. Most of them, they're not here because they have to take care of their children. So what is the union is going to do for us, for the people with young children? That's a question.
You gotta point to somebody. Pick somebody to respond to your question.
I want the Roger to answer that question, and I want Andrew to answer that question.
I don't have any children. There was a rumor going around that I had many children. I cleared that up. I don't know where that came from. It's weird. I don't see the young lady that was starting that rumor in here. She's not here, but I don't have any children, so I'm going to do everything that I can to help you out in that situation, in that scenario. Like I said, I'm not familiar with it because I don't have any children, but I get to work on that. In terms of having children.
I would like to answer that question.
You want me to answer that? Okay, it's something that could be negotiated and put back on the table about child care.
I don't even understand what you're saying.
I said something could be negotiated back into the contract. It's a possibility. It's something we have to bring back to the table. I understand. When I first started, I had small kids, and I had a job in my life. It's something you have to do. But if it's possible to get MTA to negotiate something within the contract about child care, it's possible. Anything's possible.
It looks like kids aside, it's just not that important for the union. That for us, it's really important. Many of us don't bring it up because many of us are men, and there's less women here. But there's a lot of women operators that are not here.
Okay, there's always been women operators here. So do you want the union to do something as for child care itself, the union, TW 258, child care facility, or you want MTA to contract?
It's kind of a priority. It's not something that we might do or don't want to do. It's kind of a priority because family, it's our family that we're trying to take care of, and our families that are the one that are going to take care of us eventually. So, please.
I think you've driven my kids before.
Oh,
Roger, please.
But he had already cut off.
Now, let me say, it's so important. We all have kids one point, and I agree with you 100% we need to have child care. We have to have priorities, and that's one of my priorities. To be safe. Like City Hall has places where they can have their own kids. Why can't we have it? And we have to look at it to the very firstly. And that's what's so important, the communities get to fulfill, like the women's community. There are issues that if you would have been this forward, we would not know about it. But that's what's so important, to have those communities fulfilled. And we all participate in those communities. So that becomes a real priority.
Yes, right now in the MOU, we do have child care personal leave without pay. Maybe we should try to revisit that and try to see if we can get paid a certain period of time. There are people that work for City Hall that have free child care.
It's not free. It's $1,500.
Excuse me.
It's $1,500.
It's $1,500, okay.
Only the lawyers are getting paid.
All the lawyers. So maybe we should try to tap into that resource. Since we're city employees and they are city employees, and try to tap into what the lawyers are doing.
The FMLA is just time. It's not money.
Right.
It's just time. You need to have vacation time, and you need to have sick time. You need to have money in your account as as you work. And if you take so much time, you can have all the time, the FMLA time, but you won't have the money to provide your FMLA. That is just time.
Yeah, we want to give them time.
Okay, please.
Yeah, thank you. I do have two children, 8 and 11, and I think Roger and I have done 12 transit talks now. We did one with Mothers on Muni, and it's not just a question for mothers, but for fathers as well, about child care issue did come up. And Derek said the word listen before, and I appreciate that, because I think it's very important that we listen to the members and we let the members participate and bring up important things. So I don't think we can find the answer tonight, but I think that should be, I don't want to say a committee, but something that we can look into the future. Because it's not just, can we get money for child care? It's how can we support the members? I mean, I have the benefit of having rent control, and I still live in the city, So I can get home and pick up my kids and that type of thing, and that's great. But how can we make it work for the people who live in Antioch, or the people who live in there's a woman she drives in Presidio, she lived down the street from me in subsidized housing. She got a job for Muni. Maybe 70% doesn't sound like a lot to you folks, but you know what happened when she got 70%? The city kicked her out of the projects, and she had to move to Vallejo.
Like I said earlier, the Women's Committee is a very important committee that we need to look into, and like Pete says, we don't have an answer for you tonight, but it's a very important question that we need to look into.
Okay, we're gonna ask, because we want to try to get a lot of people spitting in, we'll just ask that if the question be asked to each and every last one of you, that you break it down to at least 1 minute, because we have a lot of people probably get longer time.
I have a quick question for Roger, one also for you, Pete. Roger, you mentioned something about the way hours that we work. Are you familiar with the 8 to 10? Are you familiar with the 8 to 10?
Yeah.
Can you explain to the membership the 8 to 10?
The 8-hour rule, you're working 10 hours and you get paid for 8 because it's a 2-hour non-paid split.
So why did you mention something about a 3-hour split?
I can't hear.
You mentioned something about a 3-hour split without pay?
Yes.
So what do you mean by that?
The question I have mentioned, when are you getting more radical? If the corporation offers a 3-hour non-paid split, is that going to be enough for you to become radical? Is that radical enough for you? That's what I was referencing. How much more radical is this situation going to become before we get radical? How about if the agency offers 9 years to max out in pay? Is that radical enough for you to become radical? What about if the agency offers 3-hour non-paid splits? Is that radical enough for you to become radical? That's what I was referencing right there in regards to the 3-hour non-paid split.
Well, that kind of threw me off because it didn't make sense. Because in order to change the 8 to 10, you have to go through the chart. Yeah,
That's a good question. You're not addressing the response.
Pete, you mentioned something about being the staff rep and based on being elected as vice president. Have you ever filed a grievance?
Thank you, Tony, for the question. As been stated in this room before, I adore Tony Parker, so thank you for addressing me.
You have a minute to respond.
Oh, I thought I was already at least 10 seconds in. Now I'm 12 seconds in. Derek I want to say right now, Derek has more experience in that.
That's not the question.
Have you ever filed sir, you're not your moderator. You asked your question. Tony, you get one question. So the answer to your question is no. And one of the things that Roger and I would like to do, I do have 1 minute, Tony, is to educate the membership. How many of you out there have been educated? I have 1 minute to answer the question. How many of you have been educated in how to file a grievance?
Mr. Pete Wilson.
How many? We're going to make sure we get educated.
Wait a minute, brother. Wait a minute. Now, you responded to the question. You don't go to shoot it out toward the membership. We have other people here want to ask questions.
To answer the question.
You responded. Come on, let's be logical and then review. He asked a question, you responded. Thank you.
Thank you. This question is directed to the president. You guys keep talking about Crocky and harm us, the union. Is there anything in the future that can be reversed? Can that be put into the ballot, reverse Crocky, and how you plan to do it? Start with Lisa.
Yes, that could be reversed. What it was is there's a 475-page document on the decision from the state of California and PERS, Public Employees Relationship Board. There was a finding that I'd say about 85% of the stuff was illegal that they've done to us since 2010. So now what we should be doing, we should be talking about this right now. The powers to be the executive board right now should be sitting down with their lawyer downtown at 1 South Van Ness with Rinsky and his lawyers and saying, let's go back and memorialize this. Let's get rid of this right now. It shouldn't be waiting until he gets elected in office. This process should be taken right now, and then it should be handed over to whoever is in office, or if that person is going to continue to be in office. So yes, we can do something about that because there was a decision from the state of California. Thank you.
Yeah, basically that's what I said earlier when I said that Crocky, partial Crocky will return. And I would like to see a brief from the attorney from Oregon. Possibly with the election negotiations, we need to do that right away.
Once again, as I stated earlier, that brief is in our lawyer's hands at this moment. It's been there. The same day it came out, we spoke to our lawyer about it. He is now going through page by page, word by word, and breaking it down to find out what our next approach is to talk to him today.
All right. Any man-made law can be overturned. Laws are constantly overturned, created, rescinded, etc. You remember when it was illegal for African Americans to sit on the front of the bus? Wasn't that a law? You remember when it was illegal for women to vote? Wasn't that a law? You remember when it was illegal for Mexican farm workers to have rights in the fields? Wasn't that a law? You remember when it was illegal for homosexuals, gay people, lesbians to get married? Wasn't that a law? Any law can be overturned that was created by men. So yes, it can be overturned.
Thank you.
I want to know, what are you going to do to better educate the membership on the election? Looking around here, this room should be much fuller than what it is. I think members don't understand how important this is. They don't understand how much power they have. You just said it yourself. And they don't know that. So I ask you, the board, and the election committee, what are you going to do to better educate the membership on elections? From the bylaws, to the Constitution, to the rules of everything. That's your responsibility.
Well, first of all, I'm glad you brought that in this room. The way this election was handled, it says a lot. We got people on the election committee that are telling people they can't vote, and because they didn't make enough meetings, but they didn't pay their dues. Well, the people on the election committee, a lot of them don't even show up to meetings. So you're telling me you're going to set a rule that you don't follow. So anybody that had a petition, and that's what I was trying to bring up, that this is supposed to be a meeting, because you don't have a petition according to Section 9, Article 9, Section 3 of our bylaws, unless 20% of the membership signs a petition. This is supposed to be a meeting, but we're past that point. So in the future, anybody that is on the platform, whether you took off from work, you couldn't pay all your bills, everybody should be able to run for office. And one more thing, as far as the bylaws, that would be the executive board can change the bylaws. They haven't been changed since 1985. They need to be updated. Yes, sir.
One way to approach it, and always what was done before, we got to have membership meetings at the divisional level. That's the kind of information given. Bring to the membership, they cannot chairperson that the district meetings. This way, whatever information you put out there, it doesn't get to the third or fourth or the fifth time, it will be disintegrated. So that would be one of my first goals. Make sure that we always going to be just meetings, regardless of what time it is.
First thing is that no matter who's running for what, when, where, and how, the people that have the power in their hands to elect the individual, you don't elect a person on if I like that person, if I dislike that person. It's about what can that person bring to the organization. You know, I don't agree with everybody on how things are done. That's me, because I feel that things should be done in a proper way. You know, I'm a book person. I'm a regulation person. If the regulation says you do A, B, C, and D, you follow those regulations, you move forward. But once again, you got all this stuff that we did in the past, what we did in the past. I believe in running things the way the word says run. If first thing it starts with at the divisional level, make sure when you go out there and vote, that person's going to do the best job possible for you, or he or she. If that person, if they just there to be popular.
Repeat the question, please.
I said, what do you want to do as the president, as anybody on the platform, to educate the membership on how important the elections are?
One of the things that we're going to do is ensure that every operator shows up to the general membership meetings. As our brochure states, we will end the violence at the general membership meetings, which is one of the first points as to why hundreds of operators don't show up, because of the hostility at the meetings. That's first and foremost. We're going to end the violence once and for all at all the general membership meetings so that everyone feels welcome and included. That's the first thing we're going to do. The second thing we're going to do is we're going to have order. We're going to follow Robert's rules of orders pertaining to how a union meeting should be ran.
So, a couple of things that for the election that kind of gets me is that it's from 5 to 5 on a Tuesday, which we've heard about voter suppression a lot in the last 10 or 15 years. And I would like to educate people in the possibility of having an election on 3 days or having the election be done on the internet. But let's say you're somebody who comes in from Hayward on BART to drive to 45 Stockton, 45 Union, and you go to Sutter Stockton. You have to remember to come all the way back down or up to Presidio to vote. Or let's say Tuesday is your day off, or if you're on vacation. How come these people aren't allowed to vote? So I think it does give an advantage to older operators and not to younger operators. But we should the internet, whether it's Facebook or YouTube or whatever.
Eric, next. Eric.
Well, this is when the age of technology, we should be able to vote and sign up online. So everyone would have a chance to, an opportunity to vote, because that way you can vote from home from your cell phones. But we need to improve the voting registration when it's done. We need to improve it because it's failing a lot of people. And I think everyone should be entitled to run.
Candidates of our local 258. My name is Berkeley Sparks. I've been in music for 27 years. And this has been the most dysfunctional union that I have ever dealt with. I cannot understand how you have an election and you have that many vacancies. Something is wrong with this election. I don't know if it's running, there's no communication with the members. I'm not really sure what's going on. But what I do know is that everybody that's running for this election should go to a union class. Because evidently, the people that's running it don't know what union is about. If you can't get 50 members to come to a union meeting, there's a problem. So my question is, what are you gonna do to make sure that our members attend union meetings and make sure that we understand what's going on? Because right now, don't nobody know what's going on. Somebody needs to tell us what's going on, because what's going on with this union? Like, what is it that you feel that you can do to bring us back together as a strong union? Because right now, we're dysfunctional.
1 minute, please, 1 minute, please.
Okay, I'm gonna answer this as quickly as possible. One, there should be a newsletter out and let the members know what's going on. Two, the officers, chairpersons, executive board should go out and try to rally the members up. It just takes 50 people to have a quorum. We haven't had a quorum in 13 months. Also, we can do some type of via email to let the members know what we're doing, what's happening, what's going on with the sign-ups. Right now, we have a situation with the sign-ups. They have a sign-up that comes in place. They're going to be doing the sign-up. They don't have an actual date. And they tell us when it's not going to take effect until June of next year. But the contract clearly states it to take effect in 90 days. So that is wrong. We should have, actually, what we do is general sign-up. We should be going to a new division within 90 days. Somehow or somebody went downtown, cut a deal, and given management 80 months to let them go to their new divisions.
Yeah, I'm kind of shaking my head, which I agree with you 100%. And again, we have laws in principle, which is we, the chairperson, to have those meetings to the AM and PM, so everybody is aware what's going on, so we can be educated. And that's what the education committee has to be filled. So we all know what's going on. I mean, we can talk what we want. I don't want to hear from police and say, well, he got a point on that, but he's got to go back to the basics.
Once again, it starts at the divisions. If you don't have chairs that's delivering the message or don't want to deliver the message, it starts there. It starts there. When I came in, I knew who my chair was. I knew who my chair was. I go to these classes now, and I ask 2 weeks later, know your chair? I don't have it. I walk in, we sit at the same table, he walks right by us. He never said anything to us. You gotta have dedicated people to do this job. This job, ain't nobody getting no outrageous wage for this job. You gotta have heart for the membership in order to do this job. If you don't want to do a job, don't do it. Go somewhere else. That's my theory. You gotta have heart.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
You stated that we can't even get 50 operators to start a quorum. Over the last 3 years, I've been able to bring hundreds of operators here on a monthly basis, not at one given time. However, the first time that these new operators, whether they've been here, whether they're veterans or rookies, the first time they show up to the general membership meeting, they say, Roger, you know what? I support everything that you're trying to do. However, I'm not going to show up to these general membership meetings because of the violence, the hostilities, the threats, the harassment, the intimidation, and the bullying. So what's the first thing that I'm going to do is end all of that at the general membership meetings. No one is going to be bullied, harassed, threatened, or intimidated at any general membership meeting. There's a couple operators that I'm looking at right now in this room.
Thank you, Mr. Marenco. Okay, answer these questions.
What they gonna do?
The question.
Like, really?
And we got one more question we got to get out of here.
Really? Like,
Okay, we got the question. Let them respond.
tell me something.
We need a better communication with the memberships, but we also have to remember that everyone don't live in San Francisco. And a lot of people do. And I'm with the cable car division, and we have 2 shifts, the AM and the PM shift. And we do a lot of discussions at cable cars. We're always together, and we always talk about what's going on at the union meetings. even though all of my members not here all the time, but I keep them up to date on what's going on.
Okay, earlier,
Yeah, communication is key. I mean, it's one of the reasons I wanted to run for something in the first place. When I came to a meeting a while back, a couple years back, line trainers were only getting paid for 8 hours instead of 9 hours, or whatever they were doing. And I asked at a meeting what happened, and they said, we handled that. And I said, why don't you let us know? And one of the executive committee members said, I said, you got to tell us the good stuff. And you know what he said to me? We don't like to toot our own horns. Excuse me? You have to tell us the bad stuff. You have to tell us the good stuff. I'm a stand for communications, ladies and gentlemen, for listening what the members want. Also, that's why we made the whole.
Thank you guys. To vote for the best person that's going to take care of business. Because we need somebody to take care of business right now. That's right.
I had a question for PDP. You mentioned that the job of the vice president is a staff representative also, right?
We're going to talk about...
No. I'm going to ask you a question. Right, staff representative, so when you're elected vice president, you automatically assume the position as staff rep, right? Is that correct?
That's correct. Thank you for your question.
You are wrong. You're elected vice president. You are not staff rep. The president appoints a staff representative. If you become vice president, the president can appoint anyone as staff representative. So you are wrong. I don't know why are you running for vice president. You don't know what's about. I'm sorry, sir.
All right, here's the time right now. I'm asking for anybody to leave. Always speak rapidly before you leave. So here's the time where it's 2 minutes. I mean, we're going to go down to 1 minute. I just talked to the man. He said we can do 2 more minutes. Last minute closing remark from each and every last one of the candidates. We're going to start with Derek Johnson. We're going to do a 2 minutes remark, a statement, whatever your statement is, to let operators know.
It's going to be strictly 2 minutes.
Yes, because we only have 10 more minutes left here. We ask everybody to grab a paper before we leave. We want to take over. So we're going to just, everyone stand up and state your last 1 to 2 minute remark.
Okay.
Give us 19.
Organizing is my top priority / women's committee. We are under attack by the FTA, and we need to take on hands-on strategic tools and tactics to devise an organized plan and also collect data. Everyone is at heart an organizer, and that we all must cross-train, like Roger stated, and Andrew stated, we all have to cross-train and to know what everyone's doing. And also, we've also talked about the in-house fighting. As long as we continue to have in-house fighting, the enemy is winning. And we also need to learn how to punch the bosses in the mouth.
Thank you. Yes, you know, my union chair assaulted me, and
I said the bosses.
yes, I know. Well, he thinks he's my boss, and the union didn't want to do anything about it. But I'd like to support Roger and no violence at the union meetings, but how about no violence at all among union members? I'd like to clear up the sick policy. The union has done a good job at the meetings telling us that there's no sick policy, that you not sign anything. But how come that message doesn't get out to the members? The guy behind me in the morning says, hey, you guys got to clear up the sick policy. I'm like, it's already been cleared up. But why isn't the union passing that information on? Terrence did open up the books at one meeting about 10 months ago, but we haven't seen it since at a meeting. We'd like to change the wage progression. When I asked at the contract negotiations 4 years ago, the statement of the lead person in the room was that nobody would take the job at that wage, and the city would change it because nobody was crazy enough to take it at that wage. Well, that strategy hasn't worked, and we need a new strategy. Also, they've said that that the city has brought us 3 or 4 options, and we finally voted on that last one. Why are we waiting for the city to bring us options? Let's bring options to the city. Let's fix the outdated rule book. Let's end all hostility. Let's be proactive in reducing accidents. Let's hold fair and inclusive elections. Let's improve our schedules by adjusting the paddles and relief points and recovery time. And thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, John. Wait, thanks, John.
Yes, to start off, as soon as if I take office, I want to adhere to the membership. Let me know this is what we take in. If we're taking $130,000 a year, let you know exactly what we're doing with the money. There will be financial reports. This is something you have never, ever had. Okay? I'm going to give you that. You got that coming because it's your money, your dues. That's your money, your dues. Another thing, I'm going to get you out of that building. You're spending $9,250 for it. When the building used to be $5,888 just a year ago. That's your money. That's your money. Another thing, I don't need your money. I don't need your cars. There are 2 union cars that you pay for out of your dues. I drive my own car. I can afford my own car. You're paying my wages. I'm going to tell you what you need to know. Okay? I'm going to adhere to you. I'm going to listen to you. And I'm going to respect you. CPR, courtesy professional representation. You deserve better than what you've been getting. You've been dogged for too long.
Thank you.
Let's be clear. Hello. Let's be clear about something. Don't matter who is the president, whoever you decided to elect. It is you. It is you, the membership, the ruler. But we have to be, we got to empower ourselves by participating. If we don't participate, there's no sense that you may have one of us representing you if you don't have your backs. They help us to support. Only one person cannot do nothing. Nothing. You may have the greatest ideas. You may talk about schedules. You may talk about sick policies. We can talk about all types of situations that in the workplace. But we need your support. We need for you to get involved. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Rabbi. You know, I'm not going to make promises here. You know, promises, it's all about, you make promises and they never come through. You know what? It's about an election. It's about who leads us into the next 3 years as president to make this union better. You make the choice. I'll be out there campaigning like the rest of us here at this table. But once again, it is your choice. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody, for taking the time out to join us today. Remember that the supreme governing body is, always has been, and always will be the membership. Remember that. So, with that in mind, I want to let you know that somebody today asked me a question. They said, what do you promise to do for us? What are you going to do? What do you promise to do for me? What are you going to do for us? And I'm going to repeat the exact same answer because I agree with what Alfred said. One person can't do anything. So this is my one promise to you. I promise that I am going to do absolutely nothing for anybody unless you take that leadership role, unless you come to the general membership meetings, unless you help us get educated. I make $35 an hour. I'm not going to go up against a $900 billion corporation known as the SFMTA. I don't have that type of power. I only make $35 an hour. They have $900 million. Without the general membership, I am nothing. This position is nothing. Without you, this union is absolutely nothing. So that's the only thing that I can promise you. That if we don't come together, I cannot.
That was so eloquently put together by Ms. Loretta